So there are many types of embroidery, but a Duluth artist is putting a unique spin on this classic craft with beads. For this week's In Focus, Jamil Doneth tells us how this artist paints with beads and teaches it to others.
Joe Woods paints picturesque landscapes with beads.
Bead embroidery is stitching beads onto textiles.
This bead and fiber artist uses a unique type of bead embroidery to create a 3D painting where she paints or stitches very tiny beads onto fabric.
It can be for a pattern, it can be for edging on something, and what I do with it is I create landscapes.
Woods gets her inspiration, as you may have guessed, from nature. Her first painting with beads was of flowers that grew in the woods around her cabin.
If I can beat a flower, I can beat a tree, and if I can beat a tree, why not the whole forest? And that's how it got started.
But while this full-time studio artist has a passion for painting with beads, her second love is teaching her technique to others.
People came to me and asked me, would you teach me to do this? Would you teach me to sew with beads?
She teaches about 12 workshops a year, traveling to different locations like Bemidji, her demo destination for this week.
So there are several different colors and sizes of beads in this kit.
Wood will be teaching her kit class on Saturday, where she teaches people how to make a birch pin. Here we're making a birch tree, 4 beads at a time and a back stitch. I think I can remember that. So there you have it, a nice straight line, or otherwise known as a birch tree trunk.
My goal in the workshop is just to demystify materials and process and get people comfortable with that, and hopefully they'll just take off and do something with it.
Wood says her workshops have become equally as satisfying as her art, and her favorite part of teaching is when her students have that aha moment.
One other woman said, "Oh, I can bead on anything." I said, "Yeah, you can bead on anything you can pass a needle and thread through." And she said, "I'm going to bead the screen in my kitchen."
And you have to be a patient person to embroider with beads, but it requires even more patience to show someone else how to do it. And Wood fits the profile perfectly.
Patience is my middle name. It's always fun. I learn something every time I teach a class. I learn something new, and I like the feeling of community. You know, when you get a bunch of people together and you're all working on things and sharing.
So for this extraordinary artist, what better way to share your art than teach it? And when your talent is painting with beads, it's hard not to string along. For this week's In Focus, Jamil Doneth, Lakeland News.
And Wood's workshop will be at the Bemidji Community Arts Center Saturday as part of the BCAC's ongoing exhibit celebrating fiber during the month of October.
If you've enjoyed this segment of Lakeland News, please consider making a tax-deductible contribution to Lakeland Public Television.